I never wanted to go to the press, and that's because I knew the media would focus on the sex and the drugs and not the wholesale of our State Department for personal gain or the national security concerns.
Hunter Biden is a crackhead.
Been getting paid up to $50,000 per month to serve on a Ukrainian gas company's board, received $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife, and have gone on a $100,000 spending spree courtesy of a Chinese-linked credit card.
Back in 2019, before his father announced his presidential campaign, Hunter Biden would seek to retrieve information off of some of his computers he had. Hunter Biden, in recent months, in case you haven't heard, is under Department of Justice investigations in regards to the information he held on those machines. The types of information range from explicit sexual encounters fueled by his drug addiction to classified intelligence documents from when his father, Joe Biden, was the vice president under Obama's White House. Hunter Biden and his laptops have garnered much attention from Fox News and little from other sources. We're seeing a cover-up from the media, a blackout of anything Hunter Biden related on issues directly related to Ukraine, a country we're literally pumping full of billions upon billions of dollars currently. While the world burns, Hunter Biden lights up in the darkness with the hookers and sleeps curled up with his blood money. There's still a bunch of knowledge from those devices we don't know about, which is why the media should be looking into this more, but they're not.
I don't understand. Hunter Biden is a crackhead.
It's basically common knowledge that Hunter Biden is a crack cocaine addict. Throughout his career, he's probably never been sober. In fact, he was discharged from the Navy for a failed drug test. So the issue I have with this is, why in the hell was he put into these positions of power on the board of some Ukrainian natural gas producer where he made off with millions of dollars? Family, that's the only excuse, because it's not who you are, it's who you know. Or better yet, whose loins you crawled out of.
Full-blown crackhead!
It was Friday night, about 10 minutes before closing, and Hunter came in with 3 liquid-damaged MacBooks.
This man here is John Paul McIsaac, a real American hero who saw the evil of the Biden family and took action. In the full interview by PBD Podcast, he confirms there was hookers and crack cocaine, along with other damaging personal material on Hunter Biden. But the most disgusting items are those related to national security and the selling out of our State Department to profit the Biden family. He doesn't really disclose what exactly was on there, but he leaves it up to the prosecutors. So hopefully we'll see and hear more about this soon.
And I hadn't gone through them yet. And $85, which is basically the lowest rate that I could charge somebody. And then I saw a lot of compromising, a lot of embarrassing material on the laptop. When it became my property in about mid-July, 3 years ago, I knew that I needed to get it to the authorities. So on October 8th, after I mailed my father a copy of the drive and gave him all the paperwork, or copies of the paperwork, he went to the FBI field office in Albuquerque. About a month later, apparently it got the attention of someone because the FBI reached out to him in an effort to get a hold of me. We agreed, and the FBI came to my house. I explained the situation in about beginning of November, and about mid-November. And I presented them with some stuff I had printed up. And the other concern that we should be careful, like Hunter signed a document. After 90 days, that laptop became my property. If there's another laptop out there that has 450 gigs of mysteriously discovered 80,000 images of this or whatever, that came from something else that was not legally acquired. So if you start to muddy the waters, and then we're expected to have something that's going to be admitted as evidence and hopefully trials that will occur in the next couple of years, we can't have that information be tainted. I saw a lot of inappropriate behavior with family members. Well, there's enough criminal material on that laptop. We don't need to make up anything. We don't need to find a dark place in our minds where we want to believe that there's this evil that's on it. There's enough evil on it. We don't need to make up. Just the amount of sensitive data that was being sent in the open, unencrypted, to private Ukrainian citizens. And this information included everything from the vice president's travel schedule, all policies and procedures, economics, any discussion that the White House would have relating to Ukraine was being sent to a private Ukrainian citizen that worked for a company that was employing the vice president's son.
I'd just like to point out
That is
here,
not cool.
There was
Joe
pornography
Biden,
on
as the
there.
vice president of
Okay,
Obama,
boom. There's
at this time was in
definitely some
charge
smoking
of the
crack stuff
Ukrainian
going on a lot.
anti-corruption efforts by the
But then
U.S.
there's this Ukrainian business dealing stuff. Sounds like you went pretty deep into those emails.
Yeah, absolutely. When it became my property, and I get it. I never wanted to go to the media. I never wanted to go to the press, and I know why, and that's because I knew the media would focus on the sex and the drugs and not the wholesale of our State Department for personal gain, or the national security concerns, or the embarrassment that we will endure when all this comes out. I saw criminal activity. I needed to get this to the proper authorities.
Back to the Biden laptop. Over the years, the Bidens have reportedly been getting paid up to $50,000 per month to serve on a Ukrainian gas company's board, received $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife, and have gone on a $100,000 spending spree courtesy of a Chinese-linked credit card. So I want to know, where's all this money going? I want to know if this money is still flowing.
Here we have Fox News trying to follow the money on Hunter Biden's escapades in Ukraine, and we can see from the reporting that he has received money from Russia and China as well. Meanwhile, we're sending $40 billion worth of goods and arms to support Ukraine, while the Biden family continues to amass wealth beyond reasonable comprehension. A bit more dirt on the windows of the Biden family that we the people will have to clean up.
He is still listed as the sole governor, owner, director on the US shareholding. He still has that 10% shareholding, which could be worth a lot of money. We don't know exactly what it's worth, but we do know that BHR in 2019 had $2.5 billion worth of funds under management. And we also know that in discussions with his business partners that was on his abandoned laptop, they discussed, one part of that being worth $100 million that they would share, their share. So there's a lot of money in there. It's probably they had some wins and losses, like all of this, but Hunter is going to have to harvest it at some time, and he'll make a lot of money there.
How much money did Hunter Biden get in these ventures? How much they made in total?
We know that Hunter got $4 million from Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company. We know that a $5 million payment went into his bank accounts from the CEFC, a Chinese energy company that was in 2017, which is not just an energy company, it is the capitalist of President Xi's imperialist.
The sad truth to all of this is former President Trump literally was impeached for his actions against Ukraine, but the documents from Hunter Biden's laptop suggest Trump likely had good reason to make that phone call with Ukraine. Joe Biden was in charge of anti-corruption, yet he may have played a role in corruption while issued that task. I'm all about probes and investigations. We can only learn more from them, but to probe into one issue without looking at the broader picture and due diligence of investigations shows us really who is in control here. We the people have every right to be upset, pissed off in fact, because these windows are dirty as hell and we don't have to take it anymore.
Paying some of his household bills.